Okay. This is going to be a review on the ECOFLOW DELTA2 battery packs. We're actually getting solar installed here on this property. In our previous homestead we had solar with battery backup, and I knew when we purchased this property here it did not have solar and battery backup, and it's fairly remote, and we were told that if we were to lose power it's not going to be a couple hours, it's going to be a couple days. It's not the most accessible area, so coming out here I wanted to have a backup until we get our own full-size solar system, so I ended up going with the ECOFLOW Deltas. They are, one of them is the main battery pack, and then I got the second battery, and then I also got 2 of these solar panels. So I'm going to do a little bit of unboxing and then setting it up and seeing what it can do. I have used one of these in the past. I purchased it for my father. My parents have a sump pump that fails often because they lose power and their basement floods. So I tried to come up with some solutions so you can actually use one of these as an uninterrupted power supply. So what I do is I take the ECOFLOW Delta, plug it into the wall, and then I plug the sump pump into the ECOFLOW, and then I set it to that setting for uninterrupted power. So what happens is power goes out, it switches over to the sump pump power, and we've tested it and it actually works pretty good. And then it's not good for batteries to sit generally, so I did do some adjustments on there to set it so it'll drop down to about, I forget what it was, maybe 70%, and then it'll charge to the 100%. It just doesn't stay at 100% all the time, because even when the sump pump's plugged in there, it'll do a couple cycles and use the battery a little bit, then it'll drop to 70%. That way at least there's power outage, we at least have 70% charged, so it's better than 0%. But yeah, we'll unbox these and then see what they do, what I can do. Unfortunately, I do not have a lot of electrical appliances, so I'm going to try to use some items that generate a lot of power, because I mean this thing, one of these will run a refrigerator for like 16 hours, and then with the 2 of them, I think one of these is 1 kilowatt battery power, and then with 2 of them you have 2 kilowatt, and you can expand it up. You could do 2 extra batteries and have 3 kilowatts of power, which is pretty good, because our old house was 17 kilowatt of battery, and that powered complete whole house for, a day or 2, So this is the essentials. Okay. They're not the lightest, but so you get the instruction manual. They're packaged very nicely, but they're kind of a small little unit. You do get a power cord, so you can charge this at if you don't have solar, you can charge these with your AC outlet and then just keep them as a backup. But and then this just has, you get some extra cables. You get a cigarette socket adapter for here. The one thing they do not give you is the cable for solar panels. So if you want to charge this with solar panels, you need to either buy their panels or just get the cable. Okay, let's turn this around. Okay, now on this, I've already pre-charged this, so I turn it on. Should hopefully come on. There it goes. It's showing 100% and then 99 hours. But you do have a USB-C on the front, 2 of them, USB-A, and then for phones and whatnot like that. And then just hold it in to turn off. On the back side, so you've got regular AC outlets that do not have the ground on, or actually 4 of them that do not have the ground. And then you got a switch here for AC on off. And then you've got 2 here that are the higher powered with the little T in the end. Things like a freeze dryer, the Harvest Right large freeze dryer require that type of an outlet. So it's a heavier duty outlet. And then you've also got cigarette lighter here, and you got some 12 volt sockets, and you got 12 volt on or off. And then here's where you actually charge it. So you got, there's for your solar, there's for your AC charging, and then here's just a circuit breaker, you know, testing. So overload protection, 20 amp. But yeah, let me get you the battery pack. Show you that next. Okay, I'm going to open up this battery pack. Kind of the same thing, really nice foam that's reusable. I opened this up, charged this at our old place in Wisconsin, had it pre-charged, ready to go. You get, you know, some more instruction books. And then this is the extra battery. As you can see, it's got a slick front. It's just got the screen. And then I will show you this. So on the top here, you've got a little storage compartment, and you've got a really thick cable here. So this you're going to pull out. And then if you look here on the sides here, you've got 2 plugs. So we're going to take this and plug it in. And one thing you want to do is make sure that both of these are off. I didn't power this one back on. I didn't even turn it on originally. And these cables have a pokey yoke. They're mistake proof. So if you look at them, one side's got a triangle-ish shape and the other side's square. So they can only go in the one way. And then well, put these on there. I'm going to return this around. Okay. Now you can see on here that I've got both of them powered on. I mean, both of them connected. Both of them are connected. And they stack on top of each other, which is really nice. And then you just hit the main one, and it turns them both on. Okay, these are both connected now. You can see both at 100%, so when you turn this one on with this cable, it controls both of them. Now with this setup, I've got 2 kilowatt hours of battery backup, which is pretty good. And this gives me a lot of power. I'm going to demonstrate one of the things that electric and solar usages that is the biggest power suck is heating items. So worst case scenario, I'm going to grab my electric tea kettle. It's a horrible energy usage device. So I'm going to see if I can come out here and how quickly we can boil some water, because it's a huge drain on the electric. Okay, I'm out of the picture right now, but what I'm going to do now is I have a tea kettle filled with water, and it's actually ice cold water. That's what we have in there in the house currently. I've got the plate for it. I'm gonna You can already see it's starting to get some condensation on it. I'm going to plug this in. Okay, as I said, I'm going to plug that in, so I'm going to turn the AC outlets on. And then plug this in. Now the coffee pot is plugged in. You can start seeing that it's using some juice. Right now it is showing we're using about 490 watts. And now our wonderful 100% is down to 99%. But I mean, something like this, you can power, you know, refrigerators. I think the two of these batteries, I figured it out, it was something like, with one battery it was almost like 16 hours. So you'd have, you know, double that, you know. You could power, you know, TV, internet. We got it so we could power the Starlink and my wife's work. And we're going to end up using this when we have the solar. I don't know if you can hear that. Starting to boil. When we install the solar system here, we're going to have to cut the power to the house for a little bit. So we're going to use this to power my wife's desktop and Starlink because she needs to be able to keep working. So, and then yeah, we're still at 99%. Right now it's pulling 510, 511 watts. So this thing is uses a good amount of energy. Still waiting for it to finish, but you can see it's somewhere just over 500 watts. It's jumping from like 513 to 510, 5.9. Now we're at 98%. So you can kind of get an idea that heating elements use up a good amount of power. So now we're at 97%. And I hear the water's boiling, so it's probably good to go. You can hear it, steam's coming out. Yeah, it's done. We got our boiling water. Okay, just to give you an idea here, I'm not going to keep this plugged in long because I'm supposed to be defrosting this, but it's been sitting out for a day. It is a freezer. Okay. So now the freezer is running full power and it's doing 62 watts. So you can see much less than the heating element. And then once it cools off, it will, you know, it'll run for a bit, kick off, run for a bit, kick off. One of the things I can try, we have a guest cabin here that is wired poorly, but it has a mini split in there. And it's just wired to a buried, more or less a buried extension cord into the ground from the cabin to the main house and plugged into one of the outside receptacles. I can plug that into there, the studio, and just the little cabin, and just so you can see what that is. Yeah, so we're running at like 58, 60 watts, and that's a freezer, you know. And you could probably run, even when this surged on, it wasn't too bad. Let me see if I can get it to surge on now with the screen's on. Okay, you can see it's like 66. So that surge was 480. Oh, there it goes. But you can see that with the freezer, you're going to run a lot longer. So, okay, here's the mini split on the guest cabin, just to give you an idea. And then I will give you an idea of the size of the guest cabin. I mean, it's a It's a good little size building, not huge, so kind of a tiny house. So I will go up in here and I'm going to turn it off. Well, actually, see if we can... Okay, so it's running right now. Turned it off. I'm going to unplug it and plug the EcoFlow into it and then turn it on and see what happens. Okay, right now the EcoFlow is plugged into the power cord for the tiny studio, the tiny house, tiny guest cabin. I'm going to run and go turn it on and we'll see what it does. Hopefully these mics still work. Okay, so the mini split in there was set to 78, just to keep it relatively dry compared to everything else. I just turned it down to 70. We'll see how it does. You can kind of see the numbers there, but I mean it's both the display panels are showing 96% battery left, so it's kind of interesting how this isn't using a lot of power. And it actually could run a little tiny guest cabin, the mini split. It's cycling now. The compressor kicked on and it's running. So it's pretty neat. And like I said, we've already boiled some water, turned on a freezer, and then we are powering an air conditioning unit in the mini cabin. So pretty neat. Okay. Now we want to try these out. These I have not tested out, so kind of curious to see how they work. I bought them as a kit. I know that they're not light. And then if you do see on here, it does show on here up. So this is and I'm assuming this is the wire. So they give you some little carabiners for tying it down for wind, and then this should be the cable. It's in their typical packaging. You can see the plugs on here. So it's pretty sunny out right now, so let's see what one of these panels will do. There we go. As you can see, you get a nice carry case with this. You know, and it says EcoFlow. It's really nice. You got a carry handle. But these are, I don't know, I wish I had a scale. They're, I don't know, 25 pounds, 30 pounds. Maybe they're not. I thought they were heavier, but the pair of them, I don't know, it's hard to say. I'm out of shape, so they might not be that heavy. I'll have to look and put it in the description notes. And I'm going to add a Amazon affiliate link. What that means is that if you decide to purchase these through Amazon, it's the same price that you'd normally pay. It's just I would get a percentage out of it if you use my link. The one thing I will say about Amazon Don't just go and be like, I need this, and go to Amazon and be like, oh, there's the price, bingo. You know, these things drop in price often. So as long as you're not in a hurry, keep an eye out. We've got a holiday weekend coming up. Every holiday weekend, these drop to about 40 to almost 50% off. So I would only buy when they're on sale. I bought this set, I bought the panel, I bought one of these individually. I got it for like 45% off. I bought the kit where I got the EcoFlow DELTA2 and one of these at 48% off, I think. And then I bought the 2 batteries, the EcoFlow DELTA2 and the battery pack. And I got that, I believe, for 45% or something, or 40% off. So just keep an eye when they do sales. Don't just go like, I need this now, the world's gonna end. Just, you still gotta ship to you. It's still, because you're gonna be upset if you buy it, and then that holiday weekend, all of a sudden it drops to 40% off. So it seems like it's been a consistent cycle with them dropping the sales, because I bought 3 separate orders from them, and all of them I got the close to 50% off by just waiting. You know, if you have you know, more money than time, then you know, go ahead and buy them. But I totally recommend just waiting for a holiday weekend when they do these different sales, because these systems are well worth it when they're priced cheaply. So okay, let's see how this looks. I'm going to actually open it here because it's kind of neat. It's got like a weather-resistant zipper. Oh wow, interesting. There's another cardboard box in here with something. Oh, these are weird. Pretty interesting though. Okay, so it does zip all the way around. So the bottom of this, it doesn't open up all the way. So this side, it's kind of interesting. This side is soft. This side, there's like a hard panel in there, a protection panel, which is interesting because you still got panels on this side and you got panels on this side. But, so there's the panels. Some wires on there. And these are the bifacial panels, so you could actually, both sides will generate power. So let me go step out of the shade and we'll go into the sun and get these things hooked up and we'll see what they do. Not perfect. I'm not going to place these out any perfect way. The sun comes from both sides. I want to just see how we're going to hook this up. Okay, so you've got that out there. Okay, so I am going to, this I'm going to turn off. There it goes, it's off. I'm going to plug this into the back. Okay, sorry I got to wash out the background, but okay. So you can see here, this orange end, it's got a pokey yoke too. One side's more triangular shape, one side's flat. Put it into there. And then we've got these 2 ends that are packed into here. Okay, I got the exposure really weird because and as you can see on this, the red wire is a female plug, the black wire is a male plug. So they make it pretty easy. There's a male to female, and then female to male. Okay. I don't know if you can see that the screen's going all crazy, but it is showing we are getting 50 watts. So let me see if I can change this up a bit. Now we're getting 77 as an input. Let's see if I can figure out a better way to get some. Probably not any better. Back to 59. So laying it flat in the ground was better. But it's charging. It says roughly about 57 minutes and it'll be charged. So it's not terrible, not great, but you know, the solar, I do have double the panels to help speed, and I was told from EcoFlow that if this says, you know, more or less 60 minutes to charge this, it is going to take half of that with the double the panels. So, and the things you could do to improve upon this, you could get a better location for the panels, because I feel like I can move them a little bit and even get a little bit better. I'm kind of curious too if the performance of charging is less also. It's like 90 something degrees out here. Like I'm just dripping. It's with sweat. So that could be it too. I know that lithium batteries, they do not work as great in the heat and also in the extreme cold. So ideally you would want this in your house. Like I can feel this and it's like, it's hot to the touch. Like it's hot from being out here. So I would recommend keep these in your house, make an extension cable. You can buy these same cables with the same plug on Amazon. I've seen them. And then get long ones. And you can put like this, like I have the lean-to over there, the carport for the, you know, throw that up on top of there. You know, the best place to get the most sun. It's actually got grommets in it, so you can hang it from carabiners and just hang it from a tree too. There's different things you can do. But yeah, you can see it's working. So in a power outage, we would have this run probably the mini split in the house and then the fridges and then my wife's computer station. And yeah, but it's probably 100 degrees now. I'm just dripping. So I'm gonna run inside, let this thing finish charging, and then I'm gonna go inside. But like I said, hopefully this was helpful. One of the products I recommend is the whole house solar with backup battery. It is one of the best preps you could spend your money on. It's one of those things that you will use every single day. And it's totally worth it. Peace of mind, freedom. You know, you could sell back to the energy company, and if you're completely off the grid, we're going to be on the grid with solar and grid-tied solar and battery backup. So what that means is when we lose power, it switches over to solar only with battery backup, and it doesn't charge the lines. So somebody's working on the lines. And then when the grid is working, we're selling all excess power back to the power company, and we earn credit. So on those foggy, cloudy, dark days when we're not generating any solar, we could run off the battery or we could run off the credit from the energy company. So the system we're building here at this place is going to be twice the size of the one we had at our old homestead. The other one worked good, but with our freeze dryer, we ran into some issues where running off the battery could not power a complete cycle of the freeze dryer. So this new system will have no problem. We could run 2 freeze dryer cycles. So, but that said, what are my thoughts on these small systems like this? If you can't afford or don't want to invest that much for a whole house solar with battery backup, this is the next best thing. I mean, you lose power, and you can power your refrigerator. You can, you can power all kinds of small items. Mini split, a small one, you can power that. You know, so when it's like this, like I'm dripping, I mean, it's just hot. When it's this hot out here, you can power that. So But like I said, totally worth to get these. And when they do go on sale on Amazon with that 40 to 48, 50% off, totally worth it. I mean, there's not much else you can buy in that price range, you know, because I think the retail on this double set is like $1,500. So you can get it for half of that. It's pretty good. Even one of these does wonders, you know, and it's so much nicer than having a gas generator. We used to have a small inverter generator, and even that, it was very quiet and everything, but it just could not power much. It was the same size as this, little tiny little Honda thing, and it just could not power much. It could power maybe like a laptop and a couple of small things, where this I can power, you know, some decent sized things. And it's the same size, same weight. And then with the solar panels, you can charge this thing up, and then once we have our whole home solar, I'm going to use this just to throw on the back of the ATV. I can power tools, or I can possibly, I'm going to use it to power that little cabin. Now that we saw that it can power the mini split in there and have surplus power. Instead of using those panels that are back there, I'll get some permanent panels mounted just for that little mini cabin, and maybe I'll just use these as the power supply. This is enough for a mini cabin. It just has limited, you know, air conditioning, and then maybe a radio or something like that. The whole purpose is not to have TV out here and things like that, and maybe a little mini fridge in there. But hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, take a look at the affiliate links. I will try to put the cables that I've seen that will work. Yeah. And then, like I said, it is hot. Time for me to go in, eat some lunch. And as I've told people, those of you that have been following the move for us to Arkansas, these videos were filmed during the week early, and they're going to be scheduled to be uploaded onto YouTube, just to give my wife and I a little bit of time to settle in. She's been working, so I can't really do a tour of the house and things like that, but the next video over this holiday weekend, I plan to do the tour of the house, tour of the property, tour of the area, I guess, and then show the projects that are here. Obviously one of them is that little mini cabin, and then yeah, so hopefully that's helpful, and then until next time, cheers.